Well, this is me, Brian. Good morning. Look at this. This is the smoke from that big old giant wildfire that's burned 460 something thousand acres of California. Right, so far. Right. This is the smoke from that fire. And we're a long way away from that fire. We woke up this morning, you know what I'm saying? And this is what we saw. Here, I'll give you a reference. Okay? From where I'm sitting, there's the radio tower. I can't even see the damn radio tower. There it is. Okay, from where I'm sitting to the radio tower and dude's, little trailer park out there, right? It's about 200 yards, I'd say. Right? Where the motorhome is about 80 yards. See, that's the difference, right? And them trees over there that you can see way over there, right? And the farthest ones away, that's where Preacher Greg and his wife live, Clarissa, right? And they're probably about, third of a mile. You can see that their house is actually, see where the red Connex shed is? Right above them, there's this bunch of trees. That's where their house is. That's the farthest thing away from me that I can see right now. Now, I'm 3.9 times on the zoom right now. Okay, over there, right, like about 4 miles or so, 3.5, 3 miles, I would say between 3 and 5 miles. This is where the big gigantic mountain is. Right, that's the mine, the tailing piles in the mine. You guys you've seen them like a million times in other videos. Yesterday the high temperature was about 91 degrees with the humidity level at like about 12%. But we had a sustained wind speed of about 22 miles an hour all day. Right, with gusts, between 28 and 35 miles an hour. That's what they said on the weather. Right, okay, here on the ground, yeah, sometimes it was a little faster, but it was pretty much steady all day. Right? Since it was fairly clear yesterday. Right, we woke up this morning. Now we live in a little camp trailer. We woke up this morning and the air temperature inside the little trailer was like 59 degrees. Right, and when I stepped out and looked up this morning at like 7:15. That's the sun, Mr. Sun. That's him right there. That's how much smoke is in the air right now, right? It's filtering the sun to the point where you can look right at it, almost. Hadley's over that way, like about 5 miles, right? You can't see nothing. You can't. My horizon right now is probably about maybe half a mile at most. I can't see the highway, right? And the highway is, over here. You see where this ridge line is? Like about another, right there is where the highway is. You can't see nothing. You can't tell if there's clouds in the sky or not. All of this because the California is burning to the ground, right? Because Nestle pumped all the water out, right? Put it in bottles, and we bought it and drank it. A drought. Yeah, a drought. There ain't no dang drought. See that shed building right there? That's our well house. Right there, there's a hole in the ground, drilled in the ground, in a pipe. You know what I'm saying? It's like about 300 some feet deep. Right? We got water. Our water's clean, it's fresh. You can drink it right out of the frost free. Right? You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no drought. Right? This is our problem. That way, about 150 miles, 200 miles or so, in between that range is where the Nevada test site is. Right, Sugar Bunker, where they blew up all the bombs back in the 50s and the 60s. Right, Area 51, Nellis Air Force Base. Right, and Howard Hughes owned all the land around it back then in the 60s. And he threw a fit in the 60s and the early 70s. They were exploding the nuclear bombs underground, and they were causing earthquakes. And Howard had all his own scientists, right? And so he didn't need to depend on the government scientific bullshit. He had his own guys, and they were out here in the desert checking it all out. You know what I'm saying? Right? And Howard said, because his scientists told him, right, that if the government kept going with all of their nuclear testings in the ground, I mean, it's so some of the stuff that you read about what they did is crazy, right? But anyways, the result of all of that, Howard said, was that radiation, right, nuclear, contamination was going to filter down into the groundwater, and it was going to contaminate the groundwater, and that over a period of, decades, right, sooner or later, the water is going to rise to the top, right, and it's going to be radiated. Well, guess what? 60 years later, Mr. Hughes is right. See, that's our problem. We have water. Nevada sits on top of one of the largest clear water aquifers in the world. That's right. And it's pure water. We're lucky because we're north of all the radioactive dirt. Not very far, but we're north of it. They were just saying on the news. Therese was in there, watching the news on the phone, on the feed, and this was the National News Network, somebody, I don't know. Anyways, they just said that of the, what was it? How did she say it? Of the 8 largest fires in the history of California, wildfires, right? 6 of them have happened in the last 12 months. Now, we got a couple fires of our own here in Nevada, north of us. And the one that's burning up there in California is just like, not very far from Reno. Right? And Nevada is being threatened by this. Like Tahoe, I mean, it's all forest up there. Right? It's all trees. Down here in the high desert up here, it's sagebrush and, maybe some creosote and some up a little bit higher, some trees, some skeets, some cedars, right? Stuff like that. Right? And from where we're at, it's not that far, right? But we got a couple fires up here. The Dixie Fire, right? That are burning pretty good. They're in like the thousands of acres. They're not like in the hundreds of thousands of acres. All right? And that's contributing to all this. Right? And all of this is going to create some weather. I mean, like it's like almost 9:30 now. Right? And Mr. Sun is just barely starting to feel warm. You see, I'm still wearing my Rush fatigue jacket. Right? And it's water. It all comes from water. Right? Mm-hmm. It's part of our culture. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I should rephrase that to part of our unculture. Right? America doesn't have culture. Are you kidding me? Well, all of that shit died back in the 50s, right? Maybe the last gasp of American culture was like 1965, right? Just before the Vietnam War really kicked off. That was it. Vietnam War changed America forever. Right? It did. And, right? America has fractured, splintered into genres, right? We got the goths. We got the tweakers. We got the good. Back when I went to high school, it was broke down like this. There was the greasers, right? There was the socialists. There were the stoners, right? There were the cowboys. You know what I'm saying? I mean, equate that. You know what I'm saying? The greasers now are all and the tweakers are all the bad people, criminals, hackers, and drug addicts. You know what I'm saying? Right, bikers, right, and anybody that that associates, standing on the other side of the tracks, so to speak. Cowboys, country, country folk, and nothing wrong with them, right? And they believe in America, believe in family, right? Believe in doing the right thing all the time, working hard, playing hard, stuff like that. That's America, you understand? And then the socialists are the elite, the people that are above it, the haves. Right? And then now, You know what I'm saying? Flash forward 40 years. Right? The advent of, computers, internet, social media, social, I'm not going to say that. You know what I'm saying? Now, and everybody's got their own little idea and their own little way of looking. Even me, I'm trying to push out my own little bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Right? And it just in my case, it's so that the voice is heard. It's not necessarily my voice. Right? I mean, because you guys teach me stuff, you guys tell me stuff that makes me think, and I think about it, and I think about it, and I think about it, and then finally I get to the point where I have to say something about it, like now. Right? But we've splintered, right? We got the van lifers, the surfers, right? We got, it's so fractured, right, that nobody even knows what's real anymore. I mean, we all know that the media is lying to us, right? Or disinforming. Here, let me rephrase that. We all know that the media is disinforming us. Yeah, they're telling us something that's true, right? But a lot of it is slanted this way or that way, or their own way, or the government's way, or this billionaire dude's way, or that billionaire dude's way, right? And here, there's more news, right, being reported on in 30 minutes that the news is on TV, right, than the actual news people are telling you about. Hundreds of thousands of times more. There's stuff going on out there in the world that they don't even want you to know about. Wars, famines, right, COVID-19, right, you know what I'm saying, right? There are things that they're not, and if they are telling us, they're only giving us a little tiny bit of it slanted their way, like I said. And it fractures us even more because now people are generating these dumbass ideas because some people believe in it, some people don't believe it, some people want to believe it, some people don't think they should believe it. Right? Other people are saying, this is what you need to know. Right? Other people say, you don't need to know that, that's wrong. Right? Right? Now, why are we in this big ass list? Because America has no idea, no sense of culture, right, anymore. We don't. Skater kids, right, BMX racers, trail bike riders, right, they all are using the same medium, but yet they all have distinct and different ideas and ideologies that go along with their genre, right, and anything outside of that little bubble, you know what I'm saying, is nah, man, that ain't cool, that ain't right, you know what I'm saying? Why are you disrespecting me like that, man? In order to be disrespected by someone, you first have to have respect for yourself. Can we fix this problem? I don't know. My friend Joe Peroni, right? Yeah, Joe. Right? He's talking about the Olympics, and our American athletes are true representatives of the American people anymore. That hasn't been so since the 76 games, bro. Bruce Jenner changed the whole idea, the whole picture of Olympic athletes. And now, and on the news again, right, they're talking about collegiate athletes are demanding that they, should be paid. You know what? If you are a collegiate athlete, right, you most likely are there on scholarship given by the school or your community, right? You know what I'm saying? Or your county, your state, right? Somehow, some way, somebody said that you had enough potential, you know what I'm saying, that we're going to sponsor you so that you can go to college, you can get an education, right? And you can become a viable, upstanding citizen in your community and help your community, right? Here, right? You know what I'm saying? And then they let you be, you know what I'm saying, the best that you can be at your sport or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, to help you along through college, right? That's why they would call it, amateur athletics, AAU. That's why we have the Olympics, because all of these college athletes, you know what I'm saying, it was their outlet after school, you know what I'm saying, or their avenue towards higher education, You know what I'm saying? To become an Olympic athlete. That was what the athletes aspired to. You know what I'm saying? Right? To become an Olympic champion. Right? And then, you know what I'm saying? Or if you could do that, you know what I'm saying? To become a professional athlete. You know what I'm saying? And perform at the highest level of competition. You know what I'm saying? And become a champion. It wasn't to get paid. It wasn't to make millions and billions of dollars. It wasn't to have dreams. Right? It wasn't to, have a $40 billion mansion, you know what I'm saying, with a bunch of cars that you can only drive one car at a time, Nickelback. He even said so. Right? Right? If you choose, right, to be, right, a collegiate athlete, if that's the reason why you went there, Joe, you know what I'm saying, then it's not about money. It's not about emotion. It's not about nothing. Because all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying, I learned it. In the course of your lifetime, you will learn to segment, right, your emotions and how you feel about this or that or that or this or who or that. Right? I got haters. I got billions of haters. Dude, I got one right now that's going, is stuck deep in my playlist. Right? That any video that doesn't meet their sensibilities or their idea of what true Americans are, right? They're flagging my videos, right? You know what I'm saying? Knowing full well, right, that the AI gets a hold of it first, right? And the automatic response from Google is to demonetize and age restrict any video that's flagged automatically. You have no say, right? You don't even know, right? You know what I'm saying? And then a couple days, like maybe, 24, 36 hours later, you get email saying, hey, we've age restricted one of your videos. This doesn't mean we've, given you a strike, but it means that we're not going to let you run ads, you know what I'm saying, that people, under 18 can't watch this. None of my videos are made for kids anyway. I checked the box on the thing when it first came out. All right? But haters, you know what I'm saying? That's part of another genre, right? They figure things out faster than anybody else. They're worse than the hackers. They're worse than the criminals, right? And they're doing it all in this guided sense of, right, we need to clean up America. We need to change it. There's too many crazy shit going on. People are going nuts, right? But yet these very same people are the ones running around with no masks, right? Drinking, sharing hits off the whiskey bottle, you know what I'm saying? Right, running all over town in their flip-flops and their jammies, right? And it's just, one lady asked me, this young lady asked me, what did I think about COVID, you know what I'm saying, and all the vaccinations? Well, you know what? Vaccination is a personal choice. Right now, there's 3 different choices. There's Pfizer, there's Moderna, and then there's Johnson & Johnson. And I just heard that they're coming out with another one. And now they're telling us, you know what I'm saying, that COVID-19 is over. Everybody's vaccinated, safe for COVID-19. But now we got the Delta variant. Where the hell did the Delta variant come from? It came from all of those people, all of those haters, right? All those idiots running around in their flip-flops and their jammies going to Walmart, going to Burger King. You understand? Bitching and cussing because the Little Caesars pizza only has takeout. Leaving their germs and their fingerprints everywhere, all over the place. I'm not a germaphobe. I don't really care about germs. Right? My mom's got pictures of me when I was 3 years old sitting in the backyard with a spoon eating dirt. That's why I'm immune. Right? Where did it all come from? It came from the fracture of American culture. Now, I'm not saying that, that James Dean, you know what I'm saying, Elvis Presley, and, right, you know what I'm saying, John Wayne, right, you know what I'm saying, Ziggy Stardust, right, Sid Vicious, right. I'm not saying all of these guys had bad influence on American culture, right. I'm not saying that. Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn, right, right, Her Royal Highness, you know what I'm saying, Ella Fitzgerald, right. Their influence was American. Huh? Do I have any influence on America? Hell no. People look at me like I'm an old homeless bum that's hooked on drugs. Why? Because of all those videos I made back in the day. You know what I'm saying? About dealing with this and that, homelessness, people on drugs, whatever, right? Just because I showed it to you doesn't mean I was participating in it. Now does it? Huh? And here's your proof. My brain still works. 63 years old and I can outwork half of you. And probably do every day. Am I crazy? Probably. But I'm pretty close. How far off am I? Huh? Now there's some of you that are going to watch this that are on my hater list. You know what I'm saying? They're going, oh man, boom, bigger. Right? But you know what? This one is well within the community guidelines. Right? You know why? Because I went back and I reread them again for like the 4th time. Because Google's changed them like 3 times. Probably change them again after this video. Right? This is how you succeed in life. You follow the path. The one this one leads you down. So what do I think about, anything else? Oh, you have no idea. Right? I'm really starting to wonder though, right? Am I going to get to ride my motorcycle? Right? When I finish building it? Right? Or some group of individuals, politically correct individuals, you understand? Right? Figures out a way to, make that illegal or immoral, right? Or socially unjust too. Think about it. Huh? And yes, I do understand that I'm adding to it. For all of you that are, yes, I do understand I'm adding to it. But you know what? If you sit down and you think about it and you listen to some of my videos that I talk about stuff like this, real live stuff, you start to hear the lone voice in the wilderness. It's me, Brian. Sorry about the light sensor going up and down. With all the smoke in there, it's diffusing the light everywhere. Thank you.